He's got a nose for news and a face for radio. You're listening to Price's Highway, the podcast, with your host, Steve Price.
Well, hang on to your bootstraps. Today we're talking about parades, specifically the Spring Hill Christmas Parade. Have you been? Do you love a parade? Of course you do. If you don't like a parade, then maybe you should go listen to another podcast that isn't talking about parades. But that's what we're going to do today on The Shortcut, talking about the Spring Hill Christmas Parade. Later in the show, we're going to talk with Gerald Beckham. He's with the Kiwanis Club of Spring Hill and Thompson Station, and he's organizing the event, as he's done many years in the past as well. And he is also going to break some news to us, so a little something to be listening out for. Okay, so join Craig Midgett, me, Gerald Beckham, for this special edition of Price's Highway, the Holiday Shortcut.
Price's Highway is presented by Price Sells Homes. Don't think twice. Call Carrie Price at 615-497-3317 or find her on the web at pricesellshomes.com.
All right, everybody, welcome to Price's Highway, the Holiday Shortcut. With me, as always, is Craig Midgett. And, we just had Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and date this, but we had Thanksgiving not too long ago. And, Craig, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was nice. It was low key for us. We didn't have family from out of town or anything, so it was just my wife and two kids. I smoked a turkey, as has kind of become our tradition, and we made a few sides, and we did something a little bit different. On the last podcast, we featured Frank at Grecian Family Restaurant, who was doing the Thanksgiving meals, free Thanksgiving meals for those in need, for first responders and medical people, things like that, as well as doing deliveries. So I dragged my 14-year-old son out, and he and I did 3 or 4 deliveries that afternoon for Grecian. So that was kind of a different thing we hadn't done before, but it was very fun. A little rewarding to get out and give a little that day.
Yeah. So what was the reaction like when you showed up with the food to people's houses?
Oh yeah, they were thankful. They were happy. One of the places that we delivered was the new Tennessee Children's Home. We took like 6 big pans of stuff out to them, and filled up their tables with big pans of turkey and dressing and food and stuff that they were splitting up amongst all the houses there. Got to kind of see a little bit of the campus there. It's a nice sprawling campus, nice new buildings, upgraded from the 50s, 60s models that they have at the old campus in town. So it looks like a good place out there.
Awesome. Yeah, I went down to Hattiesburg and saw a family I haven't seen in a long time. My entire family was down there, so that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And, got to have some good food, good fun, good company. And came back on Sunday night, and the week has been crazy. And
back to the grind.
Just so you know, we are on Zoom just because my schedule did get a little crazy, and Craig's at his house. The audio might be a little different this time, but just bear with us because the content is always just great, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The audio may suck, but the content is great. Craig, let me ask you this. Spring Hill Christmas Parade. Have you been?
Yeah, I've been at least 3 times or so.
Anything? Yeah, I've been there a few times. I've enjoyed it. Anything stick out in your mind? Something you saw, something you did, family tradition?
Yeah, no big traditions other than going and hanging out. The first couple times I went, I was actually involved with one of the Cub Scout packs in town, and we put a float together and hung some lights on it, and loaded a bunch of Cub Scouts, a bunch of 5, 6, 8, 9, 10-year-olds onto a trailer, under a rickety trailer, and drug them down the road. And they had fun. They got back then. Those are the candy throwing days. So they got to toss some candy out to the crowd. And I drug our dog along. We had this shaggy red dog whose name happened to be Red Dog, and we put some reindeer antlers on them and walked them down the parade route as well, along with a Cub Scout float. That was fun. That was a fun year. A lot more fun than was it 3 years ago when it was like 31 degrees and it rained all night.
Ooh. So
hopefully we'll have nicer weather. Not this coming week, not this very next weekend, but the weekend of the 11th, we'll have some good weather and it won't be so cold and damp.
Yeah, nobody wants rain on their parade.
I really set you up on that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you really did.
You're welcome.
Well, hey, we've got the man himself, the guy behind the entire parade. He is part of the Kiwanis Club, the Spring Hill Kiwanis Club, and they put it on every year. And it's Gerald Beckham, and he joins us now. Gerald, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Hey, Gerald.
Hello.
Well, before we get started with the Spring Hill Parade and everything that goes into it and what you're a part of, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been here in Spring Hill? What do you do? And what are some of your talents and what do you do for fun?
Well, I moved to Spring Hill in 2013, February of 2013. I moved here for the music industry. I was a tour manager for a band, and we wanted to be local because we kept, leaving out of Franklin. So I was from Atlanta, so we moved here. I love Spring Hill. It was a big change. Moving from a very large city to Spring Hill was like moving to Mayberry, and I loved everything about it. It was crazy. Just not having to hear gunshots and police helicopters every day was really nice. But I did the tour managing thing for up until 3 years ago. I'm a retired real estate agent, but my wife is a real estate agent. So I'm her admin, photographer, and all that stuff because I love photography. I've been doing photography since 1990. And I've done every kind of photography you could ever imagine. And about 5 years ago, I joined the Kiwanis Club of Spring Hill and Thompson Station. It was kind of a whirlwind beginning for me when Kiwanis, because I joined in October, and then in December they asked me to be president the following year. So I was president, and I've been in Kiwanis for 5 years, and I've been president for 3 of those 5 years. So that was kind of interesting. And then now I'm the lieutenant governor of the whole division that we're in. So it covers Pulaski, Lawrenceburg, Franklin, Columbia, and Spring Hill.
You're the lieutenant governor.
Yes.
What does that mean? Just a high position of leadership for the region?
Yeah. So like you have Kiwanis is separated into districts. So we have the Kentucky, Tennessee district. So all of Kentucky, all of Tennessee, and then the districts separated out into divisions. So I'm Division 11, which is the southern part of Middle Tennessee, and I'm in charge of that whole section.
Gotcha. Okay. And what is Kiwanis for people who don't know?
Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. So what that means is we're really kid-centered. We do everything we can to help kids. My passion for the past 2 years has been the special needs community. And I don't know if you want me to go into that, but we've done
Absolutely.
a lot. We've done a lot for the city. And it's the interesting part about Kiwanis is we really just want to help kids. And so even the smallest thing, somebody posted maybe 3 years ago that they wish we had a handicap swing for their daughter because their daughter is in a wheelchair. And I was like, wow, we don't have one. Well, that's a great thing for Kiwanis to do. So I took it upon myself to start a fundraising campaign to get this wheelchair. And it was kind of dumbfounding because it cost $14,000 to put a wheelchair swing in the park. But wow, we raised the money. The Rotary Club, I went in with them. They did half, we did half, and we got the swing in. We've done communication boards in all the parks, and those are for kids who are younger and haven't quite learned how to speak yet. And they're in speech therapy. They have iPads that they can use to speak, and these boards are stationary but they're the same idea as the iPads. So kids can go and say, I want to swing, I want to go home, I got to go to the bathroom, whatever. They can just point to it. And it's everyone, I've gotten lots of great feedback from that. And the other thing that we've been doing for the special needs is our Amtrikes, which are tricycles for kids with physical disabilities. And we've done
tricycles, right?
Yeah. And we've done 4 so far this year, or over the past year. And I want to do at least 1 or 2 more. I know somebody special that I want to do one for that I'm going to work on next month.
So with these tricycles, is that what you guys are fundraising for the parade here?
Yeah. So with the parade, we got 2 things we're working on to get funds for. One is to get that 1 or 2 cycle trikes that we need. The other thing is jetpacks. So jetpacks are something that the well does, and it's where they fill backpacks or packs or bags of food for kids, because a lot of kids, they don't get food. They don't have meals. I mean, they don't have anything. So it costs a lot of money to make the jetpacks, and then we'll help pack them too. And so that's what we're trying to raise money for, is to help that, because we got word that Mount Pleasant, even though it's not in Spring Hill, Mount Pleasant has a dire need for kids and food. So we're going to really focus on that over the next year.
Do you have to be a club member to come and volunteer to help pack those bags? Or
definitely not. We're always looking for people to help volunteer at anything. Because one thing that we really like doing is, I know a lot of kids, college kids, need community hours, and so we have a group coming that's going to help with the Christmas parade. You don't have to be a member to do anything that we do. You can come to our meetings and just kind of see what we're about. We meet the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month at 12 p.m. at Boomba's Pizza. So anybody wants to come and just kind of see what we're about, we love it.
Okay, let's say that they come, they see what you're about, they love what you're about. What are the next steps? What does it take to be a member?
We have an application form. You can fill out the application, and then it's $200 a year is our fee. That pays for all our administration costs that we have to go through throughout the year. But that's really it.
Did you say 200?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you guys have a huge party coming up, don't you? A party for the entire Spring Hill, Thompson Station area. So tell us a little bit about this parade.
All right, so the Spring Hill Christmas Parade, where this is technically our 13th parade, but it's been over the past 15 years. There was one that was skipped, and then last year because of COVID. But it is a nighttime parade with lights, and we really emphasize the beauty of the lights and the parade. And we've had some amazing people, decorate their floats, and we always judge them. We have judges. This is the first year in the past 5 years that we're not having like celebrity judges and like a grandstand with an MC and all that. We're trying to keep it low key and just focus on the floats. We will be judging. We have members of the Kiwanis board, or actually the Kiwanis club, that are going to be judging the floats, and we'll have a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winner, just like we've done that every year. And yeah.
Craig and I are going to have a float. Nothing but root beer.
Dad jokes. Yeah, I just looked at the weather. It's supposed to rain during the morning and then be nice, like 57 degrees. So, which compared to 3 years ago when it was 33 or 32 and raining, that was horrible. I remember watching the weather, and snow was in Nashville, and there was a line of snow at Nashville, and it would not come south. I told everyone I just wanted it to snow on the parade. I thought that would be the coolest thing ever. But no, we got 32 degrees and pouring down rain.
Oh man,
that was a rough
snow.
I would love it.
That'd be incredible. Now you're talking about the lights. So is that why you have it at 5 p.m. and not like at 12 or at 8 a.m.?
So actually, it's a little bit more interesting than that. When the parade first started, Kevin Fisher was the director of Parks and Rec. He started the parade. He wanted to do the parade for the city, and it was going to be the first weekend of December. Franklin also has theirs the first weekend of December, and the Franklin Kiwanis Club does the Franklin Parade. Well, theirs is during the day. It's usually like at 12 or 2 p.m. or something like that. Well, because we had never done a parade, we borrowed a lot of stuff from the Franklin Parade. We had the like the Santa sleigh. We had a couple of fire trucks. We had a lot of stuff coming. Even some of the bands would just come up to Spring Hill after the Franklin Parade, and it worked out great. But that's why we started it at night, is to fit those people in on the same day, because with bands they have to hire a bus driver and buses and all that stuff to get to the parade. So if they just hired them for the day, they could do both Spring Hill or Franklin and Spring Hill. Gotcha. The lights was the added bonus, because after the first year, a lot of people got really into the light decorations, and so we just try to amp it up every year. It's all about the lights. It's all about the show. It's all about, wowing the kids, because the kids love lights. Kids love music. They love, so that's what we're trying to do.
Very cool. Grand Marshal is always kind of it's sort of a big deal. I know in years past, there's always, there's votes who should be the Grand Marshal, and maybe a local or regional celebrity brought in to be Grand Marshal. So this year, who's the Grand Marshal?
So this year, we haven't officially announced it, so I'm getting to announce it here right now on Steve Price's Highway 31 podcast. And the Grand Marshal is going to be Sarah Fisher. Sarah Fisher is the wife of Kevin Fisher, and Kevin Fisher was the Parks and Rec director who passed away last year, and he's always done the parade. The parade has always been his baby. I started working with him about 5 years ago doing the parade, and it was him and I really just going to town and having a blast with it. So in memory of him, she got nominated, and so we agreed that Sarah would be the Grand Marshal. We talked to her, so her and the kids are going to be in the parade as the Grand Marshal.
Wonderful.
Oh, neat. Very neat.
Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect as far as traffic is concerned if they're not part of the parade?
So for everyone in Spring Hill, please understand the road will be closed on Main Street from Kedron Road to Beechcroft.
No.
From at least 4:30 to 6:30.
How dare you?
One day a year. and the thing is we used to do it where we had Kedron blocked, and it was, town center was where we lined up and all that stuff. And then we finally realized we had some incidences at the crossings. Everyone was having to funnel through the crossing. That became a nightmare. And so we decided, well, let's just cut it and not block Kedron and Town Center and Steve Vukovich or whatever, and just block Main Street to Beechcroft. So last year, 2 years ago, we did it and it worked great. We used the children's home, so we can't use that right now. So right now it is the lineup will start in Evans Park, and then we'll turn onto Beechcroft, come down Beechcroft, turn right onto Main Street, go down Main Street, and then turn into the Spring Hill Elementary. So it's the reverse of 2 years ago.
Backwards from what it's been in years past.
So
that hurts my brain.
So Casey Williams is the Parks and Rec director now. Her and I spearhead this together, and that was the plan that we came up with the police that would work. We just wanted to try the reverse to see if it would flow better, because we had some issues with the left turn into Beechcroft before. So now we're going to try the right turn to see if it makes it any smoother. Sure. But again, Main Street's closed from Kedron to Beechcroft, and the great thing about this city is you can get anywhere in the city around that main street. So unless you live on Main Street, you can get anywhere.
Yep.
Except for the people who live on Beechcroft. I will say they got a little bit, they're going to be closed down for a couple hours. So just know if you live on Beechcroft between Townsend or Evans Park and Beechcroft, take some chairs, sit outside and watch the parade.
And for Pete's sakes, don't get on any of these local Facebook groups and start complaining, because nobody cares. Nobody cares about your complaints.
It's one day a year. I can't iterate that enough. It's one day a year for a couple hours.
It's one day a year. And so on this one day a year, Gerald, is there anything past a few years or however long you've been doing this, do you have a favorite moment or moments, something memorable?
I have a lot of fun memories. Even the rainy one. Maybe it was a more stressful memory, but it was a memory. But it was 2 years ago. We came out of the children's home, and I don't know why I don't know why I got amusement out of this, but the dip coming out of the children's home, then that turn was really hard, and it was interesting how many people bottomed out their trailers trying to get through there. And so one of my jobs was to stand there and lift trailers over this hump. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It is what it is, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Were like sparks flying and everything?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Some of them was pretty good. The other thing that I love.
There's your light show right there.
Yeah. The other thing that I love is that the churches, and I wish I could remember the names of them off the bat, but the churches, the one is the Presbyterian church next to the children's home. The other one I think is the Church of God or Church of Christ across the street. They were awesome. They are so great. They always have food. They have hot cocoa.
Yep.
And they're out there giving it out and all that. And I love watching them just support the city and support the parade and, helping people out.
That's a great point. I loved them 3 years ago when it was cold and raining because there was a warm spot to go inside and get out of the rain. Plus, unlimited hot chocolate to help warm you up a little bit inside. So yeah.
Oh, that was
big fan of that church.
They were awesome because that day I had gotten there at 11 a.m. to set up tents, and I was there until the parade ended, and I was soaked. And I would go into that church and they had this little space heater in one of the rooms, and they told me to go in there and I just sat by that heater and warmed up. It was great.
Nice.
The other thing I want to mention, because you talked about it, is the candy. They're not allowing candy to be thrown. You can have the walkers hand it out. They'll throw some from the Santa sleigh. And the reason is because 4 years ago, Chief Hood, the fire chief, was in the fire engine, and the cars in front of it or whatever were stolen candy, and a kid ran out and almost got hit, literally within inches of getting run over by the fire truck.
Oh,
because he was trying to get a piece of candy. His little kid, probably like 4 years old, and that scared the crap out of Chief Hood. And he was like, "All right, from now on, we're not doing it." So he put his foot down on that one, and we're all like, "Okay, it's a safety thing." Because I always see kids running out in the middle of the street trying to grab candy, and I'm like, in the middle of the parade when cars are moving.
Yeah, that's an understandable adaptation to the parade.
And another thing about the parade is we're still accepting floats. So if you want to register your float, you can go to springhillkiwanis.com/2021 parade, or just go to springhillkiwanis.com if you can just remember that, because there's a link on the main page to get to it.
Now, until what day?
December 8th, I believe.
Sorry, Craig.
Now,
go ahead.
last year without the the in-person parade due to pandemic, you had came up with an alternative. It was Light Up the Hill. Are we doing that again this year?
Yes. And so because of last year, we weren't really expecting a lot from people about Light Up the Hill. and it's a house decorating contest for the city. We had so many people so excited about it, and really some amazing houses. We decided, we know people wanted to, even at the end of last year, they're like, I don't care if there's a parade, we still want to do this. So I said, okay. So yes, we're doing that again too. And you can get that information from springhillkiwanis.com too. But you can register your house on the web page. There's a map that shows exactly what houses have signed up. And then once we get closer to that time, I'll route the map to where you can just follow it and go from house to house.
Oh, nice.
You want me
Very
to coach?
nice.
We said, oh, nice at the same time.
But it's a lot of fun and everyone loves it and the kids love it. And, you know, you can take some hot chocolate, get in your car and go look at all the lights and judge them. And so what we're going to do, one thing we're going to do different this year is the Kiwanis Club. We're going to pick the top 10 and then list those. And then the public will be able to choose who they think is the best of those top 10. And then they'll get prizes.
All right. Well, I've got to put my address up and I'll have the leg lamp out as I do every year.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know, fun story and very, very important memory here. I take the family out every December 23rd to go out looking at lights. And the reason for that date is that is the anniversary of my wife's and our first date. Our first date, we went to go look at Christmas lights. This is back in South Florida at the time. And then a year later, we went to repeat that date and asked her to marry me on our, a year later. So this year, this year will actually be the 20th anniversary of our first date of going to look at Christmas lights. And now we take our family along.
So where are you going to ask her this year?
Darn it, I hadn't thought ahead that far yet. I'll think of something.
You have a few days. Well, man, I don't know about you all, but I'm really excited about the parade. Can't wait to see it. Every year we get excited about it, and looks like this one's going to be bigger and better than the last year. But Gerald, hey, want to thank you so much for coming on the show, telling us a little bit about it. Did we cover everything? Is there anything we left out?
I think that was it.
All right, so everybody, the parade is in Spring Hill, and it's December 11th, and it's at 5 p.m. And if you complain about the traffic, nobody's going to listen to you. So there you go. All right. Well, hey, that was our holiday shortcut, and it's all about the Spring Hill Parade. And thank you, Gerald Beckham, for being on the show. And Craig, thanks for joining us via Zoom. I know not the best audio in the world, but the content, as I said, was great.
Price's Highway is presented by Price Sells Homes. Don't think twice. Call Carrie Price at 615-497-3317. She's on the web too at pricesellshomes.com. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe and get new episodes right when they drop. For Steve Price, I'm Craig Midgett. Buckle up and drive safe out there. You've been listening to Price's Highway, a Steve Price Totally Terrible production.